Today I speak to you not by accident, not by chance, not because you randomly clicked on this message, but because God Himself has arranged this divine moment for you. Hear me clearly and let it settle deep into your spirit. God said, "Receive my blessing today." This is not just a title. This is not just a sentence. This is a living word, spoken by the living God, released for you on this very day, the 7th of January. Heaven is intentional, and nothing about your life right now is overlooked by God. Before this day began, before the sun rose, before you opened your eyes, God already decided that today would be a day of blessing for you. Today, hear this with a heart that is open and ready to receive. Today is not an ordinary day. This moment did not happen by chance, and this message did not reach you by accident. Heaven itself has marked this day. God, in His perfect wisdom and flawless timing, has appointed this moment for you. Long before January 7 arrived, long before you woke up today, God already knew you would be here, listening, needing this word. Nothing about your life is random when God is involved. Every step, every pause, every delay has been under His watchful eye. So many people live thinking that days are just passing, that time is moving without meaning. But the truth is this: God assigns purpose to days. Some days are for planting, some days are for waiting, some days are for learning, and some days are for receiving. Today, God says, is a day to receive. A divinely appointed day means that heaven is active, angels are attentive, and God's favor is present. It means that what could not happen yesterday can begin today. It means that what seemed closed before can start opening now. Some of you woke up today feeling heavy, unsure, maybe even discouraged. You didn't feel special. You didn't feel strong. You didn't feel blessed. But feelings do not determine divine truth. God's appointment does not depend on your emotions. Even if you felt weak, God still chose this day. Even if you doubted, God still marked this moment. Even if you almost didn't click this video, God still drew you here. That is the power of a divinely appointed day. It overrides human hesitation. When God appoints a day, it means He has already gone ahead of you. He has already prepared what you will need. He has already aligned people, opportunities, and answers in ways you cannot yet see. The Bible reminds us that God orders the steps of the righteous, not just the destination, but every step along the way. Today is one of those ordered steps. This day carries instruction, correction, encouragement, and blessing wrapped together in God's love. For too long, some of you have been saying, maybe tomorrow, or one day things will change, or someday God will move. But God is gently shifting your language today. He is saying, not someday, today. Faith is always connected to the present moment. God meets people now. He speaks now. He heals now. He strengthens now. A divinely appointed day pulls the future promise into the present reality. This does not mean that everything will suddenly become perfect by tonight, but it does mean that something has shifted in the spiritual atmosphere around you. A seed has been planted. A door has been unlocked. A burden has been lifted, even if you cannot fully explain it yet. Often, the greatest moves of God begin quietly, deep within the heart, before they ever show up outwardly. Today is also a reminder that God has not forgotten your calendar. You thought too much time had passed. You thought opportunities were missed. You thought you were late. But God exists outside of time, and when He appoints a day, it restores what time tried to steal. He can compress years of waiting into a single moment of favor. So walk through the rest of this day differently. Walk with expectation, speak with faith, pray with confidence, not because you feel strong, but because God has declared this day meaningful. When heaven appoints a day, earth must respond. And today, heaven is speaking over your life, saying, this moment matters, you matter, and what I am doing in you begins now. Today, it is important to understand a truth that changes how people see God and how they see themselves. God's blessing does not come as a reward for being perfect. It does not arrive because someone has lived a flawless life, made no mistakes, or always made the right decisions. If blessing were based on perfection, no one would qualify. Yet God continues to bless, restore, lift, and renew people who are broken, struggling, and still growing. This is because God's blessing is received through faith, not earned through performance. Many people quietly disqualify themselves from God's goodness. They look at their past and decide they have failed too much. They remember promises they broke, prayers they stopped praying, and moments when fear was stronger than faith. They carry guilt and think God is disappointed, distant, or unwilling to bless them anymore. But this thinking does not come from God. God already knew every weakness, every failure, and every struggle before He ever released a promise. Nothing about your life surprises Him. Faith is not pretending to be strong. Faith is choosing to trust God even while feeling weak. Faith is not claiming perfection. It is admitting need. When a person comes to God with honesty instead of excuses, with surrender instead of pride, that is where blessing begins. God resists pride, but He responds quickly to humility. The moment someone stops trying to prove they deserve God's favor is often the moment they become ready to receive. Grace works in a way that challenges human logic. People expect to earn what they receive, but God gives because He is good, not because people are good. This does not encourage careless living, it produces gratitude and transformation. When someone realizes they are blessed despite their imperfections, their heart changes. They begin to obey not out of fear but out of love. They begin to trust not because they have earned it, but because they have experienced mercy. Faith is also the willingness to receive when God speaks. Many blessings are missed, not because God did not give them, but because people felt unworthy to accept them. They hold back, waiting to feel ready or clean enough, but that day never comes through self-effort. God cleans, strengthens, and prepares people after they step forward in faith, not before. The blessing often becomes the very thing that helps them grow. When God says to receive, He is inviting trust. He is saying, stop measuring yourself by your failures and start measuring me by my faithfulness. Faith looks away from self and focuses on God's character. It believes that God keeps His word even when circumstances disagree. It believes that God's promises are stronger than personal weakness. Receiving by faith also means letting go of shame. Shame keeps people trapped in the past, but faith opens the door to the future. Shame says, you are not enough, but faith says, God is enough. When faith rises, shame loses its voice. The heart becomes lighter, hope returns, and confidence slowly rebuilds, not confidence in self, but confidence in God. This is why today matters. God is offering blessing not because everything is fixed, but because faith is being awakened. The moment someone chooses to believe God's word over their feelings, something shifts inside. They move from striving to trusting, from hiding to receiving. And in that place of faith, God's blessing flows freely, doing what human effort never could. Many people misunderstand waiting seasons and assume that if something is delayed, it means God has said no. When prayers are not answered quickly, doubt begins to grow, and the heart starts asking difficult questions. It is easy to think that silence means rejection, or that time passing means opportunity has been lost. But delay in God's plan is never wasted time. Delay is often evidence that preparation is happening where it cannot be seen. God is intentional with timing because He sees the full picture, not just the immediate need. What seems late to people is often perfectly on time in heaven. God knows that certain blessings require strength, wisdom, and maturity. If they arrive too early, they can harm instead of help. That is why waiting seasons are not empty seasons. They are shaping seasons. While nothing appeared to be happening on the outside, important work was taking place within the heart. During delay, character is formed, trust is tested, motives are refined. Waiting exposes what people truly believe about God. It reveals whether faith is rooted in convenience or in conviction. Many people want the promise but resist the process, yet the process is what protects the promise. Without preparation, blessing can become a burden. Delay also teaches dependence. When answers do not come quickly, people learn to rely on God rather than outcomes. Prayer becomes deeper, not just focused on results, but on relationship. This is where spiritual growth happens. In the waiting, people learn patience, endurance, and humility, qualities that cannot be developed in comfort or ease. God often uses delay to realign priorities. What once seemed urgent loses its grip, and what truly matters becomes clearer. Some requests change during waiting seasons because hearts change. God is not only interested in giving what is asked, He is interested in shaping who is asking. Sometimes what people think they need is different from what God knows they need. Delay creates space for that understanding to develop. There is also protection in delay. God sees dangers that are hidden and paths that lead to regret. By holding something back, He prevents unnecessary pain. What feels frustrating in the moment may later be recognized as mercy. Looking back, many people realize that if God had answered earlier, they would not have been ready to handle the responsibility or pressure that came with it. When the delay ends, the blessing often arrives with greater impact. It brings stability, not chaos. It brings peace, not fear. It brings clarity, not confusion. The waiting was not punishment, it was preparation. The silence was not absence, it was alignment. God was arranging circumstances, people, and timing so that when the blessing came, it would remain. Understanding this truth changes how people wait. Instead of growing bitter, they grow deeper. Instead of giving up, they grow stronger. Instead of questioning God's goodness, they learn to trust His wisdom. Delay no longer feels like rejection, but like investment. When the heart finally becomes ready, the door opens naturally. What once felt impossible begins to flow. The blessing fits because the person has been prepared to carry it. That is why delay was never denial. It was God ensuring that when the promise arrived, it would build life, not break it. God's blessings are not limited to material or outward provision. They extend into the deepest parts of a person's life, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. Many people focus only on financial breakthroughs, career opportunities, or visible success, but the greatest transformations happen within. When God restores from the inside out, the results last far beyond temporary circumstances. Restoration in the inner life is what allows people to walk confidently through challenges, handle blessings responsibly, and experience true peace. The mind is often the first place where restoration begins. Thoughts can be cluttered with worry, fear, regret, or confusion. Anxiety tells a person that things are out of control, while doubt whispers that God has forgotten. Restoration of the mind does not always remove difficulties, but it brings clarity and calm. God teaches the mind to focus on His promises rather than problems. The thought patterns that once caused stress or hesitation begin to be replaced with faith, hope, and understanding. Decisions become clearer, priorities sharper, and perspective more aligned with God's purpose. A restored mind allows a person to see possibilities where previously there seemed to be none, to recognize opportunities that were hidden behind doubt, and to embrace hope even in uncertainty. The heart also experiences restoration. Emotional wounds from betrayal, disappointment, rejection, or past mistakes can weigh heavily, influencing reactions and attitudes in the present. God's restoration brings healing to those wounds. Bitterness begins to dissolve, anger loses its grip, and grief is replaced with peace. The heart regains the ability to trust, to love freely, and to respond with compassion instead of resentment. This emotional restoration strengthens relationships, allowing forgiveness to take root and connections to deepen. When the heart is restored, joy is no longer fleeting, and contentment becomes sustainable because it comes from God rather than circumstances. Restoration also touches the spirit. Many people feel spiritually dry or seated after seasons of hardship, doubt, or neglect. God's work in the spirit restores hunger, devotion, and intimacy. Prayer becomes meaningful again. Faith is renewed. The desire to seek God is no longer a duty, but a natural response of a revived spirit. Spiritual restoration provides a foundation for all other forms of blessing. It gives strength to endure trials, guidance to navigate decisions, and courage to step into new seasons. When the spirit is restored, a person becomes sensitive to God's presence and responsive to His leading, allowing blessings to be recognized and received fully. The combination of restoration in mind, heart, and spirit produces holistic transformation. It equips a person not only to receive God's blessings but also to steward them well. Without this inner restoration, blessings can be mishandled, joy can be short-lived, and faith can waver when challenges return. God's desire is to prepare people from the inside so that external favor aligns with internal stability. This ensures that the blessings become a source of growth, influence, and testimony rather than stress or confusion. This restoration is also a reminder that God's care is personal. He notices not only what is visible to others but also the struggles that no one else sees. He knows the burdens, fears, and insecurities that weigh on a person daily. By working internally, He addresses the root causes rather than just symptoms. When this inner work is complete, life flows with balance, resilience, and clarity. The blessing that follows is more powerful because it is anchored in restored faith, hope, and strength. God's restoration is a promise that no matter what has been lost or broken, healing is possible. Minds can be renewed, hearts can be healed, and spirits can be revived. When the inner life is restored, every step forward becomes a step with purpose, confidence, and divine alignment. This is the deeper blessing that allows all other blessings to flourish. Faithfulness is often overlooked, yet it carries extraordinary power. Many people underestimate the value of quiet consistency, the small acts done without applause, the obedience shown when no one is watching. God sees every detail, every choice, every effort, even those that appear insignificant to the world. Every prayer whispered in solitude, every tear shed in secret, every act of integrity and patience matters. Faithfulness is like a seed planted in soil. At first, it seems hidden, unnoticed, and unremarkable, but over time, it grows deep roots and produces fruit beyond imagination. People often measure success by visible results, but God measures success by perseverance and devotion. Consistency in prayer, honesty in behavior, patience in waiting, and diligence in small tasks demonstrate trust in God and alignment with His principles. The efforts that feel unnoticed are exactly what God uses to determine readiness for greater blessings. Every act of faithfulness is evidence of a heart that values God's promises over immediate reward. This is why quiet, unseen devotion is often more powerful than public displays of service. Faithfulness also shapes character. By remaining steadfast in small matters, a person becomes reliable in greater matters. God entrusts bigger responsibilities and opportunities to those who have proven trustworthy in minor details. Many fail to recognize that the journey of faith is not always about dramatic breakthroughs but about the development of integrity and perseverance. Life often tests consistency, asking whether faith is real when challenges are routine, repetitive, or discouraging. Those who endure in faithfulness show God that they can be trusted with larger blessings, influence, and responsibility. Every faithful action, though sometimes unnoticed by others, has spiritual weight. God remembers each prayer, each act of kindness, each moment of obedience. These moments accumulate, building spiritual currency that prepares the way for breakthroughs, favor, and divine encounters. Faithfulness is not wasted. It is never invisible in God's eyes. Even when immediate results are not apparent, the unseen effort is creating the foundation for future impact. Faithfulness also produces resilience. When life challenges or disappointments arise, those who have been faithful find strength in their prior consistency. They can stand firm because they have practiced endurance. They can continue trusting God because their faith has been tested and proven reliable over time. The blessing that comes after faithfulness is often more lasting because it is anchored in character, not just circumstances. Additionally, faithfulness teaches patience and humility. People often desire recognition, rewards, or acknowledgement, but God's timing rarely aligns with human impatience. By remaining faithful without demanding notice, a person learns to rely on God alone for validation and reward. This builds maturity and dependence on God's wisdom, creating readiness for the larger blessings He wants to release. Finally, faithfulness is a testimony. Even before a blessing is fully revealed, consistent obedience and perseverance reflect God's work in a person's life. Others witness the quiet strength and integrity of someone who remains faithful, which can inspire, encourage, and point them toward God. Faithfulness carries influence and produces unseen ripples that extend beyond immediate circumstances. Faithfulness is the bridge between effort and blessing. Every prayer, every act, every choice that aligns with God's will contributes to preparation for what is coming. What feels ordinary, small, or unnoticed is in fact extraordinary in God's eyes. The blessing that arrives as a result of faithfulness is not accidental. It is the direct response of God to a heart that remained true, consistent, and obedient, even when no one else seemed to notice. The greatest blessing that God can give is not material wealth, opportunity, or visible success. It is His presence, guidance, and assurance. All other blessings flow from this. When God's presence rests on a person, circumstances no longer dictate peace, fear no longer controls the heart, and uncertainty loses its power. Presence is not something that depends on external factors. It is a constant, unshakable reality for those who trust Him. When guidance accompanies His presence, decisions become clearer, paths become safer, and confidence rises even in the midst of challenges that once seemed insurmountable. God's presence brings a peace that surpasses understanding. Many people chase peace through situations, achievements, or approval from others, but true peace comes only from God. It is not a temporary relief, but a deep-rooted calm that exists even in storms. When this presence fills a life, anxiety, fear, and doubt begin to fade. The mind no longer races with worry because the heart trusts the one who holds all things together. Even when outcomes are uncertain, the assurance of God's presence provides security. People learn to rest in Him rather than in circumstances. Guidance is a natural companion to God's presence. Decisions that once felt confusing or overwhelming suddenly become clear. Opportunities that seemed risky or impossible can be approached with confidence. Guidance protects from mistakes, delays, and missteps, leading toward fulfillment of God's purpose. It helps a person recognize what is in alignment with divine will and what could be avoided. When God directs a life, even the complex paths become navigable because the steps are illuminated by His wisdom and timing. The presence of God also strengthens during challenges. Life is full of difficulties, but when God is with someone, they do not face struggles alone. Strength is provided for endurance, courage is supplied for fear, and clarity is granted when confusion threatens to overwhelm. People can walk through situations that previously would have been impossible because the one who is greater than every obstacle is within them. His presence transforms weakness into strength, fear into courage, and uncertainty into clarity. Another aspect of this blessing is assurance. Assurance allows a person to act in faith, not hesitation. It is the confidence that God is working on their behalf, that nothing is wasted, and that every step is known and watched. Assurance removes doubt from the heart and replaces it with certainty in God's faithfulness. People begin to live in alignment with His promises, making choices that reflect trust rather than fear, and responding to opportunities with boldness rather than hesitation. When God's presence and guidance are experienced, all other blessings are magnified. Material provision, favor, success, and relationships gain stability and purpose because they are anchored in Him. Without His presence, blessings can be fragile, fleeting, or mismanaged. With His presence, even ordinary circumstances can produce extraordinary results because He is actively shaping and directing them. The life that receives God's presence is aligned with eternal principles, capable of bearing fruit and equipped to impact others. This blessing also transforms perception. People begin to see life through God's perspective rather than through human limitations. Challenges are no longer permanent barriers, but temporary tests. Opportunities are recognized as divine appointments. Relationships are approached with wisdom and patience. Even when outcomes differ from expectations, the presence and guidance of God provide understanding and peace that surpass worldly logic. Ultimately, receiving God's presence and guidance is the foundation for every other blessing. It is not just a comfort, it is empowerment, protection, and preparation. When this presence is embraced, life is no longer driven by uncertainty or fear, but by divine alignment and purpose. Every step becomes intentional, every challenge navigable, and every opportunity aligned with destiny. This is the greatest blessing because it ensures that everything else in life flows according to the wisdom, love, and power of God.